I really don't know if this is PileDriver or what, but regardless, welcome back. Haven't seen you guys in a while. GWC. This one's for all you guys. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday, I got to see one of my road dogs. I got to see my best friends. Not all of them, but I got to see a lot of them from the pro wrestling business, and it just got my head spinning because we go years without seeing each other. You spend years together in locker rooms. You spend years together up and down the road in cars, the miles, the food, the holidays. We don't have anybody else. It's just wild because there's just such an aspect to it that you leave the business, you lose your friends. I mean, if that makes any sense, you go from spending several days a week traveling together, eating together, sleeping in cars, paying for hotel rooms out of your own pocket because the payday was fucking light, to not seeing each other for years. Crushes your soul in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, wives and kids and all that, we love them. But on the flip, you spent some of your most intimate, vulnerable fucking moments with those people. And once you stop, that fucking ball keeps rolling. And yesterday just really got me thinking about that. This isn't like a wee wall party or anything like that, because what yesterday was, and we discussed it, Corey, Ian, Ryan, Kat, Crystal, we were all talking about the fun hilarity and the people we've become since we've walked away. Some of us sooner than others, some of us after the others, and some of us real recent. And I mean, I can walk into any locker room in probably 100-mile radius and be welcomed with open arms, because I spent so long doing that, and I'm well tenured and well traveled. But I'm not trying to toot my own horn. That's not what this is about. And like I said, this isn't a wee wall party either. It's just the pays were light. The mileage on your own vehicles, the gas, the food, the hotels, the amenities outside of it, your gear, wear and tear on your vehicles. Like I said, I mean, I just sound like a broken record, but yesterday, being in the company of that mentioned group that I spent so many years going up and down the road with, that was the fucking payoff. I said it to them. I mean, that, staring at those guys, laughing to the point of almost throwing the fuck up. That, I started laughing and the coughs came and it was there. The kayfabe, the use of a shoot name instead of a gimmick name, the talks of the stories. I mean, anywhere from the biggest dick in the locker room to Edhausen and beyond. So many names were mentioned in such positive light, and some of the things said, I had posted my photo and had said I will ask for forgiveness at a future time, because yesterday there was so many topics breached that they're still hard to talk about. and some of our viewpoints aren't the same as the general consensus, and that's fine because not everybody's going to agree. And if any of you know me for real, you know I am fucking cancel culture. That's just who I am. And I'm the same person to the wrestling fans as I am to my family, as I am to my children. Like, this guy doesn't change for that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm kind of at a loss. But like, there's no bigger crowning achievement I've ever had in my life than being called dad, or being told by my children I love you, or you know, the significant other, or whatever it is. I mean, I miss the wrestling, I miss the accolades, I miss the laughs, I miss the road trips. Like, it's all great. But once again, like I said, yesterday was the payoff, man. Like, days like that, you know. I stopped at another company show on Saturday, and just the smiles and the hugs and the holy shits, you know, because you just don't expect to see people, or they don't expect to see you. So it's kind of cool to have that still. It's just nice. The surprise is nice. And then, you know, the memories will pop up on Facebook about certain shows or certain events or whatever the case may be, and the conversations that start from it, from the people involved, and just it takes you to a place that I can only relate it to the guys I spent time in the Army with, guys I spent time in the firehouse with. You've been in the ugliest fucking scenarios you could possibly imagine, and you've come out on the other side most of the way unscathed, unless you break your leg and have 5 breaks and 2 fractures. But, you know, there's always a way back. There's always a road back. Not that I want to go back to it. My life has been so much better without wrestling. I mean, I'll always be a fan. I'll watch it. It's hard to watch it from the standpoint of like, oh, ABC could have been done better, or I will literally call something before the commentator says it. But we talked about loss, and we talked about our gains. You know, we talked about the children we didn't have during that time. We talked about the kids we had during that time. I mean, it was always a discussion with my oldest, Marcus. Every time before I'd get into a match, I would call my kid. I say, hey, I love you. I'll call you after my match. And I would call after the match and say, hey, Daddy's all right. Daddy's good. There were only a few times where Daddy wasn't able to call because Daddy was not all right, and I wasn't going to make that call. So a text sufficed. But anyhow, but like the one thing a lot of people don't discuss, you know, outside of the whole, like, I won't see my friends again when I leave the wrestling business, the other aspect is like a normal life, because you go from every weekend taking pictures with people, signing autographs, going to bars afterwards, the occasional rat, whatever, to being just a normal guy or girl. Not spending the hours in the car on the road with your friends again, seeing everybody else's weekend. You go back to being a father, a wife, a husband, just maybe you're an only child and you don't have kids and you just sit at home. But I mean, wrestling will always be there. You can always go back and say hello to everybody. I'm sure they're going to be happy to see you, unless you're a shitbag. Then they don't want to see you. But like, I've never been one who couldn't swallow their pride. I took a job at one point to make ends meet, and I was a janitor. And there was a point in time where I was on my hands and knees scrubbing toilets and bathroom floors. And I thought about it. I'm like, I wrestled in front of thousands of people screaming my name, and here I am scrubbing toilets. But that's okay, you know what I mean? Like I said, my pride is not too much as to where I can't get beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, the job needs done. So if you ever see a janitor, thank him, because otherwise you'd be eating on dirty tables and walking on dirty floors and sitting on dirty toilets and all that fun stuff. It's what it's all about, man. You know, just having respect for everyone, because you never know what somebody else's story is. But with that, another big thing of yesterday was, we talk about concussions and we talk about CTE and we joke about it a lot. But until you're there with your friends and they're telling a story and they can't remember part of it, or you're telling a story and they don't remember any of it, that's depressing. I have 11 diagnosed concussions and I have 2 major brain traumas. There's matches I don't recall at all. I'm so huge on taking photos and documenting so much stuff, due to the fact that if it wouldn't be for the photographic evidence or the video, I wouldn't remember it. So, you know, I post a lot of stuff, and that's why. I might wake up someday and not remember my own name. But being able to fill in the blanks for other people yesterday was pretty cool. There's certain memories I'm still able to hang on to. It's just one of them things, man. It's wild, but I don't really know if there's a point to this. I really don't. I guess maybe a part of it for me is like, don't be afraid if you walk away from the business. You're not going to have the friends or the brotherhood anymore. We are one big fucking Roman carnival act, from town to town, state to state, country to country. It's always going to be there. Like I said, unless you're a shitbag and nobody wants to fucking see your face, which I can name a lot of people, it's always going to be there. The brothers, the sisters, the fans are going to be just as happy to see you. The mamas, as I call them, all the mamas I've had in every Fed, somebody's wife who always looked out for all of us or did stuff behind the scenes that nobody was really aware that that's the person who did it. It's just how it is, you know. But walking in and getting those smiles and those hugs and those the brother me softly handshakes, still, it's great. But don't be afraid to walk away from it. Take yourself seriously in the aspect of, if you're hurt, don't work hurt. Make sure you have something outside of wrestling, because if you lose wrestling, you lose everything you've worked for. You know, every penny you've ever saved is going to get spent, because you got to pay the bills. And I know a lot of you, wrestling ain't doing it. So just keep that in mind. But a big thing I've always preached to the younger guys when I worked at the training facilities is, if you're fucking hurt, don't wrestle hurt. If you're worried about a concussion or you're dizzy or something, don't wrestle. Take some time away. Come back. Just make sure you're doing some push-ups or sit-ups and working on the cardio in the meantime. You know, stay in some kind of shape. That way you don't just sit back and become a heffalump. You don't want to be that. But, yeah, man. Yesterday was a real eye-opening experience, seeing the brothers and the sisters. So Saturday wasn't an eye-opening experience. It was still cool. But, you know, it was just nice to see those familiar faces and share some stories of like, oh man, do you remember? Yeah, actually I do. Not all the time, but yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, man, wild. But thanks for watching. I'm a funker. I'll always be, have always been. You know, we lost Terry, and that was a massive blow. Not only to the brotherhood I know, who he influenced and worked with, but all of his peers on his level. But yeah, man, stay safe out there, kids. Depression is rampant. There's all kinds of help you can get. So I recommend getting it if you can. Doesn't go away. It's ugly. It doesn't discriminate. Just know if you ever need an ear, I'm here. So this one's to all you guys. I'm a funker. Hopefully you guys are funkers too.